Sorry about that. I didn't mean to make this a two-part video, but I hit the wrong button, and yeah, so I'll just continue on. This is the right-hand side of where I was. The leeks are obviously my left and my right here. These are a blueberry tomato. I've grown these a couple of times in the last 4 or 5 years now. They're pretty good. This is the first time I've grown them on such a larger scale. Normally I plant them in pots and let them grow that way and have 1 or 2 or maybe even 3 in one big pot. This time I've gone quite large and quite quick, and they're working out quite well. As you can sort of see, I've got flowers on at the moment. I've got some fruiting over in the far side over there, not this plot here. There's another plot behind, and I will take you all over there in a minute. I do apologise about all the traffic, but I am on a main road, and anyone that's watched my channel knows that. So if you come down a bit further, these are all shallots. So I've only planted out a small lot this year of the shallots, due to I want to go to spring onions as well. So the shallots were just a quick improvise, see, to keep things going, and because I can't get any spring onions at the moment. As you can see, I've got some basil. This is a Egyptian basil. I've got a couple of them, and then this is just your common basil. I don't know the exact name of it, but I don't ever plant it. I just pull the plants out of my garden and let them go. They always self-seed and they're always popping up, so it could be a crossbreed. But this is definitely the purple Egyptian basil. Sorry, you can tell by the leaf shape. And then that's just your regular old common basil that you would, majority of the time, you would find in your garden. And see, I've got a couple extra cherry tomatoes, or blueberry tomatoes, sorry, seedlings. These ones here, I've got them plodding along just to replace anything that happens to get snapped off or die or whatever. So I'll just quickly turn around, start at the very end here. And this is another plot. I've only got 3 or 4 tomatoes in here, and you can see the eggshells in the bottom. Now, fortunately for me, I also have chooks and ducks, so any eggs that we cook and eat, all the shells always go in my gardens, or I dry them out and powderise them as best I can with a quick smash up with a sorry about that. I quickly smash them up as best I can so they're finer. But this lot came out of a pot. We had some boiled eggs with some salad the other night, so I threw them in here and they'll just break down in through the soil. So I probably should have smashed them a bit smaller, but that's alright. There's a couple more basil plants here. I've replanted my ginger in this plot here. And then as we continue along, these are blueberry tomatoes as well. And if you have a look at the stems on them, they're nice and sturdy, thick. I haven't really got them trellised up too much. I've only got that one tie down there that you can see. And they're about the same. They're probably about, I don't know, hip height. And then I've got another lot here, same thing, probably about, I don't know, 3 foot tall or so. And then I've replanted this with ginger as well. Obviously nothing's come up yet, but because I've only just replanted it and it's a bit cool, so I'm not expecting anything to come up. And then these 2 plots here, this one here and the one next to it, these are Tommy Toe tomatoes. So they're like a trellis tomato, but they're a cherry tomato as well, so they'll get pretty well. And I can show you the variety and some, because I've already got one growing. You can see another one over here, and it's about the same. It's about 3 or 4 foot tall. I've given another crack at growing some garlic again this year. So these have been growing for probably 5 months now. They're not the tallest, but they're getting pretty thick. Some of them are anyway, and starting to really get into it a bit. And got some garlic chives over there as well. This is the Tommy Toe from last year. It grew on, so you can probably see a few of the tomatoes up in there. what I'm doing is I'm picking them at this stage. So as soon as they start to blemish, I don't know if you can see that, as soon as they start to blemish like this, or even like this, I'm picking them, and that's just to stop any wastage and anything stinging them and stuff like that. So that's why I'm picking them and that, and this is obviously leaning out towards me, but it's probably four or five feet tall. Yeah, so I'll just quickly go on to the next section, which is a few people have already seen it and that, but I do a fair bit in bathtubs. I get bathtubs for free and cheap, so every chance I get it, I grab them. Any of the ones that are still any good and that hold water, I plug them up, fill them with, put a bit of rainwater in them, or let them fill up naturally, and then I'll plant this. Now this is a Zola, or it's basically like a pond weed. So yeah, just let them fill up and plant some of this in it, each one. Got another one there, there's another one behind me, and I feed this to my chooks. And you can see I'll just quickly pick up a good handful of it. You can see it just floats. Got a good little roots on it, as you can see. You know, I'm just gonna pause the video for a second. I'm just gonna rescue something. Sorry about that. There was a skink in there, so I quickly rescued him. Got him out of that water. Normally they sit on top of it and have a drink, but he was having a bit of trouble getting out. See, there's another lot there. I had strawberries in this, but they failed, so that's another one I'm just going to quickly turn over and get rid of the soil out of it. Another bathtub that I filled up. I grew in this last year, and then I got given that big pineapple plant at the back, and I've grown a couple extras. There's 4 just here, and then I've got my lemongrass growing again. I let it die right back and split it all up as best I could and replant it again. Yeah. And the same over here. I've got ginger in this one, and then I've done my prep work on this one here and my prep work on this one here. So these will be ready for probably tomatoes. And then the next one along, which is the same thing, I'm nearly finished. I've just got to top it off. But all this on top, this top sort of 3 to 4 inches. I'll just quickly give you a really good look at it. This is all out of my chook pen. So there's a lot of chook manure in there. And what I do is I actually throw all my garden clippings, green waste clippings, into the chook pen, and let them pick through it, and they pick through and get all the bugs and green bits of stuff out of it and whatnot. And obviously there's some feathers and stuff there's feathers and stuff in there which will break down and put calcium into the soil, but this is like absolute gold for my garden, and it does quite well. There's a lot of organic matter in it, and a little bit of soil obviously, because I let it break down for about 6 months in the chook pen, and I let them pick through it for about 6 months. But you get other things like these are crayfish shells, red claw crayfish shells. I feed these to my chooks, and you can see that after a while the shell just breaks down and gives me a good bit of compost and some calcium back into the soil. You can see it's just crumbling in my fingers. So yeah, but yeah, the next little project is, as I said, I'm going to put tomatoes in these two right here. That one up there is ginger. These two will be tomatoes, which I'll quickly run back here and I'll show you. They're only itty bitty little things at the moment, but this is that tomato I was showing you earlier in the video. It's about 4 foot tall, but I'm growing the same variety as this one here, and I used the one to my right, which is the Tommy Toe tomato bush from last year, to propagate everything that I've got growing here is a growing tomato plant from last year, and I use a ripe tomato and I just put it in the soil, just squeeze it in, spread it out a bit, and this is what I end up with. I've got nice little seedlings growing, and I'll let them get to, you know, 3 foot, 3 inches tall or so, and then I'll dig them up and plant them out. You can see some of them are just there. You can see the tomato shell, the seed shell on them, and they'll open up and turn into a nice little tomato plant, like something like that. And these are all the same variety, so I'll just quickly show you that variety. This is that variety that I'm growing here, and then I'll just quickly find the other one and I'll show you that one too. Back over to the other little section, but this is the other variety, the blueberries that I'm growing in another section. I don't know if you can read that or not. That's the variety I'm using in the blueberries, and the obviously the Tommy Toes are another heritage breed, or heirloom breed, sorry. And what I do is I'll just keep my own seeds, and that's why I buy heirloom varieties, so then I can keep my own seeds and they're viable. And it's a good practice to get into, is keeping your own seeds and whatnot. Now I'll just quickly end this video on my last little notes, which is, obviously you can see in front of us is another garth tub full of Azolla. I took 3 kilos out of this one and the other 2 last week, and they're back to being completely covered again, nearly completely covered, so another week. But basically I'll take about half the amount out of each one, and within 10 to 12 days, 10 to 14 days, they'll be back full again. But as I said, I'll just quickly end on this. This is my compost. Everything goes in here. Everything, and I mean everything. All my tomatoes that, you can see the ones down here. These are the Tommy Toes that didn't make it. They were too scrawny, too thin, getting too tall, they're way too straggly, so I just threw them in here, let them break down, create compost out of them. Yeah, so I'll just end on that, and advisable to have everyone get a compost bin and do something with it. Get into your garden and have a crack.